The rain came down and the floods came up, and the house on the rocks stood strong. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rain came tumbling down. The rain came down and the floods came up. The rain came down and the floods came up. The rain came down and the floods came up, and the house on the sand fell flat. So build your house on the Lord Jesus Christ. So build your house on the Lord Jesus Christ. So build your house on the Lord Jesus Christ, and the blessings will come down.
Sanibonani bangani bami emakhaya. Ngaze ngajabula ukuphinda ngibe kanye nani futhi.
Good morning, children. I'm so happy to be with you once again today.
Asibongeke kuyicula limnandi sesizwile.
We are so happy and thankful for the song that we've heard.
Bangani bami emakhaya. Angazi noma niyazi ukuthi kuhle kanjani ukubona umntwana osizayo. Oyusizo nje ngaso sonke isikhathi.
I don't know, children, whether you know how wonderful it is and what a joy it is to see a child who is happy and who's always helpful at home.
Angiphathi-ke umuntu ozosiza umuntu osesidingweni. Niyazi izwi likaNkulunkulu liyakukhuthaza lokho.
And how much more if you are helpful to somebody who is in need or who is suffering. The Lord's word tells us about this.
Encwadini yeZaga 19 verse 17 kuthiwa onomusa kompofu utsheleka uJehova nomsebenzi wakhe uyawubuyisela wona.
In Proverbs 19 verse 17 we read that whoever is kind to the poor, the Lord will bless, and he will always reward them.
Bangani bami niyazi ngifuna ukunixoxela indaba kwakukhona abafana ababethanda ukudlala ibhola ngaso sonke isikhathi esikoleni mebethola ithuba nje bayodlala ibhola.
Today I want to tell you about some boys who used to love playing soccer. All the time, every opportunity or moment they had, they would go and play soccer.
Labafana babenza grade 6 no grade 7 bonke abafana ba grade 6 behlangana naba grade 7 kuzodlalwa ibhola i-team enkulu.
And all the grade 6 and all the grade 7 boys used to always come together and they would play soccer and be two big teams against each other.
Hayi labafana wena uma nje kukhala insimbi ye-break sebephandle bayadlala sekolamula ukuthi kukhale futhi esethi buyelana emaklasini.
The moment the break bell would ring, they would be out of their classrooms very quickly onto the soccer field, and they would play soccer, and only the bell would go at the end of the break would force them to stop and come back inside.
Niyazi ke bangani ngelinye ilanga lanethi izulu lanetha hawu yakhala insimbi ye-break babuzana sihambe sodlala bathi hayi sohamba sodlala thina noma linethi izulu.
And one day it happened that it was pouring with rain, and it was raining. So when the break bell rang, they were asking each other, should we go out and play? It's really raining. And others said, no, we don't care about the rain, let's go and play.
Niyazi ke bangani badlala belikhahlela ibhola abanye beshelela bewe beqhubeke bevuke bedlala kumnandi.
And so they all went out in the rain and they played soccer and they were kicking the ball and they were slipping and sliding in the mud, but they were having lots of fun and they continued playing.
Kodwa bangani khona okubuhlungu okwenzeka koyedwa wabo obizwa ngoPet. uPet washelelela emanzini wase waphuka umlenze.
But then something very sad happened to a boy named Pat. He slipped in the mud and he fell and broke his leg.
uPet kwadinga ukuthi beke ukudlala ibhola be-attend uPet bemgijimise ekhaya waphela kabuhlungu umdlalo.
And the soccer game came to a very sad end because suddenly they had to stop playing and take their friend Pat, rush him off home, and they had to stop playing their soccer.
Njengoba nazi ke bangani umuntu mephukile ugijinyiswa esibhedlela efika esibhedlela ebhandishwe efaka ukhonkolo ebuye sesebenzisa induku.
And as you might know, if somebody breaks an arm or a leg, they get rushed to the hospital, and when they get to the hospital they put on some plaster of Paris and they've got lots of pain and then they go back home.
awuphethe weza-ke esikoleni ngokuqhubeka kwey'nsuku kodwa-ke akasakwazanga ukudlala ibhola ubelokhu ehleli nje eklasini khala insimbi akasakwazi ukudlala ibhola.
Well, with time, Pat was able to go back to school, and when he got back to school, he couldn't go and play soccer with the other boys because he still had his broken leg, and he would have to sit inside when they go out.
uPet wayenza ugrade 7 babephatheke kabuhlungu abadlala noPet ngoba wayeyumdlalo ovelele bebuhlungu ukuthi akasakwazi ukuzodlala nabo.
Now, Pat was in grade 7, and his classmates were really very, very sad that he couldn't play along because he was like their star soccer player.
Kodwa-ke awuzange phela umdlalo ngenxa yokuba babeqhubeka njalo bedlala yena elokhu edabukisa nje engadlali.
But that didn't stop them from playing. They still went out to play their soccer games. Every day at break they would go and play.
Ngelinye ilanga uTom owenza ugrade 6 waye enkonzweni kuyisonto wafika wamlalela umfundisi lapha ekhuluma ngokuthanda omunye umuntu ngokuthanda umakhelwane wakhe nokumcabangela yamthinta lento uTom wacabanga uPet.
One day Tom, who was in grade 6, went to a Sunday service, and while he was sitting in the service he heard the preacher speaking about being kind to your neighbor, loving each other, and this made him really think a lot.
Washa umsomluko uTom kwasekhala insimbi yebreak waya kuPet wathi Pet ngicela ukukusiza ngcono usondele ube kanye nathi ungahlali wedwa ngoba usakwazi ukudlala ibhola.
So on Monday, when the break bell went, Tom felt that he needs to go to Pat and tell Pat that he wants to help him to go outside at least to come closer to them and to watch their game and not to sit all lonely inside.
Wabe semtshela ukuthi uyazi Pet ngiyakudabukela futhi ngiyazwelana nawe sengizohlala nawe njalo manje mekuyama break ngoba wena usakwazi ukudlala nathi.
And so he told him that he really feels sorry for him that he can't play soccer anymore, and that he feels he wants to sit with him rather and be with him so that he's not so lonely always at break.
Niyazi bangani uTom wenza into enhle kakhulu ngoba phela uPet wayesenaka ukuzidabukela okukhulu njalo lokho ekhala wasebenza umsebenzi omuhle ngempela uTom.
And that was a very, very kind thing that Tom did for Pat, because Pat had become quite full of self-pity and felt sorry for himself that he can't go outside, but here came Tom to be some company for him.
Kwaba isifundo esihle lesi ngoba walulama uPet waqhubeka wayodlala ibhola bonke bafunda ukuthi how waze wanenhliziyo yenhle uTom.
And with time, Pat's leg healed and he was eventually able to go out and play with them again, but they had learnt a very good lesson through Tom's behavior, because Tom showed them that they need to be kind to the others.
Uthisha omkhulu-ke wesikole wayewubona lento enhle eyayenziwa uTom wabe sebagqugquzela bonke abafundi ukuthi bafundi anoba usizo kubantu abadala emphakathini nenzokuhle uNkulunkulu uyakujabulela lokho.
And the principal had seen what Tom had done, and he was very touched by this, so he called all the children and he encouraged them that they should all follow Tom's example to help the elderly, to help people that are suffering, people around them in their communities.
Hayi-ke bangani nani ngabona uguquko sesikoleni kusizwana uthisha mephethe kabi iy'ngane zigijime zomphathisa kwabamnandi esikoleni.
And you cannot imagine how that school's environment changed. That suddenly all the children were helping each other, were helping the teachers, were all so kind to one another.
Behamba oTom bayoculela abantu abagulayo kwaba yinto enhle kakhulu ukuthi lezi ngane zisize.
And Tom even got some of the children together and they would go and sing for others who were sick or not so well, and it was a wonderful thing that they were doing in the school.
Kwathi nje mekuphela lowo nyaka kwafika abazali kwafika abangane esikoleni kuzogujwa lo nyaka lo obeyisimanga kuwo wonke umuntu.
By the end of that year, all the people in the community, the children's parents and neighbors, everybody came to the school to celebrate what a wonderful year that had turned out to be at the school.
Manje bangani bami angazi noma niyabona yini umphakathi wonke umuntu esikoleni ethinte ngenxa nje yesenzo esisodwa saTom ukuthi ebe nozwelo.
Now, do you realize, children, how a whole community, a whole school, everyone was blessed and touched by one deed that Tom had done?
Angazi la mngane wami ukuthi usizo lapha ekhaya lapho umama ecela usizo noma uyadinwa wena uletha nje ukuthi kungabi mnandi ukuhlala nawe ngoba ufuna ukusiza.
I wonder what it's like with you, dear child. If your mother wants you to help her, what sort of help are you to her? Or are you just upset and you don't really want to help, that it's not even nice for them to be in your company?
Asike sifundeni uTom, sisizane, usize nje emphakathini, umsize lapho umuntu enesidingo, uba umuntu onosizo lapho ukhona.
So let us be like Tom rather, that we are a help to each other and also a help to people around us in our communities.
Sizofunda futhi leli verse esingene ngalo. Onomusa kompofu utsheleka uJehova nomsebenzi wakhe uyawumbuyisela kuye.
And we will read the verse again that we read at the beginning from Proverbs. It says, "He who is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and the Lord will bless and reward him."
Siyabonga kakhulu bangani bami, sisocela uMiss van der Walt asiphethele ngomthandazo.
Thank you so much that I could share the story with you, children, and now we will just close in prayer. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you that we could learn this lesson today.
Nkosi uJesu siyathanda ukukubonga ukuthi namhlanje sikwazile ukufunda lesifundo.
Thank you that you help us to know how we can be kind to others.
Siyabonga Nkosi Jesu ukuthi uyasiza ukuthi singabe usizo kangakanani kwabanye abantu.
Help us to be kind because through that we are lending to you.
Siyacela Nkosi uJesu ukuthi usize sibe nomusa ngoba ngaleyo ndlela kufana nokuthi sitsheleka wena.
And thank you that we don't have to expect a reward here because you will reward us one day.
Siyabonga Nkosi ukuthi asidingi ukuthi silindele ukuthi sothola umkomelo la ngoba ngelinye ilanga siyothola kuumkomelo.
So please, Lord Jesus, help each and every child as they go through today to think about the story and to see how they can be kind to others.
Siyacela ke Nkosi uJesu ukuthi ube nalowo mntwana umkhumbuze uNkulunkulu le ndaba osukwini ukuthi bengaba nomusa kanjani kwabanye abantu.
We ask all this in your name, Lord Jesus.
Sicela konke lokhu ngegama lakho Nkosi uJesu.
Amen.
Amen.
Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. If any boy hears my voice, if any girl hears my voice, and will open, open, open the door, I will come in.